What is up, everyone? Movie Worm back again with another instant episode reaction to Line of Duty, and this is going to be for Series 6, Episode 5. Yes, only 2 more to go in this series. It's getting pretty exciting. I mean, what an ending that was. I'll talk about it in a minute, of course. But I just got to put my little disclaimer in here like I do every single week. This is not a full detailed episode breakdown, it's just an instant reaction. It's just finished 5 minutes ago, so if I do miss a few things or get a few things slightly wrong, I do apologise for that, but I do write down everything that's worth noting when I watch the show, and it's just my little thoughts on it, just a bit of fun really. You know, I'm not an expert or anything like that. Most of you in the comments are really clever about it, and it's just been great interacting with you all, and I'm hoping you're all enjoying the videos. And basically, I just want to say, first off, shout some people out, because I was thinking who the hell was in that picture last week on the end of the episode, and Walter Robinson was the first to alert me. We talk on Instagram every week after the episode, and he said it's Joe Davidson. And I was like, I didn't think of that, because it's sort of a red herring. It's just making you think that it might be someone else, and pretty certain he was correct there, because it didn't look like the person who it was, who we're talking about in a minute. Also, I think that Kaylee Tomlinson also said the same thing, so thank you, Kaylee. James Donaldson also brought this up, and someone called W also brought it up, so well spotted, you lot. Looked like you were right. Before I get into it, we've all been guessing every week who's H and who's going to be corrupt and stuff like that, and I just like to give a big shout out to the writer Jed Mercurio here, because he is just shows how good of a writer he actually is, doesn't he? Every single character in the show has been guessed to be corrupt, and one week or another, from Chloe in AC-12 to Hastings to I've even heard people saying Kate Fleming's corrupt. So it just shows how good of a writer he actually is. So yeah, let's just get into the episode. First off, we found out that Jimmy Lakewell, a few people guessed this last week as well, that Jimmy Lakewell told stuff to Steve in the van that we didn't see, and they are correct. Didn't really think of that too much, but when people were bringing it up, I was like, oh yeah, you're probably right there. And he said that Gail Vella was looking into a murder of Lawrence Christopher, who died in custody in 2003, but there was a lot of corrupt things going on there that we learned throughout the episode, and it's kind of hard because you write these things down and then more gets revealed as it goes on, so I do have to touch on them again in a minute. But yeah, so we find out that Davidson was in fact related to Tommy Hunter. Now, I just want to give a big shout out to one of the people in the comments who's been commenting every week, Jack Knight. Now, he brought this up in the first episode reaction, that Tommy Hunter was going to be related to Joe Davidson because they were both Scottish. Now, I think he said there's going to be his father. I'm sure Steve just said they were closely related, didn't actually say what it was, unless I missed that. I do apologise if I did miss that, but yeah, they are the blood relation there. So well done, Jack Knight. That was a really good spot there, because you noticed on the picture that there was something going on when it just showed Joe Davidson and her mother and the father weren't in the picture, sort of. So yeah, well done, Jack Knight. That is a great spot to get that on episode 1, my friend. So someone's telling Davidson about AC-12, all the goings on last week. Someone's alerting Davidson, apparently, but Hastings retiring. Now, that to me says this might be the last season, because it's his last month, it's all coming to an end and stuff. But maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like things do get a little bit stale if you carry on doing them forever, don't they? I mean, a few series have suffered from this, and I would be up for another season of Line of Duty, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is the last one. So just sort of little nods there saying this might be coming to an end now, with Hastings having to retire and stuff like that. Osborne is on the TV saying things run smooth nowadays, there is no anti-corruption and stuff. Well, it just proves that he's wrong there, doesn't it? Because there's plenty of corruption going on right now. I mean, Ryan Pilkington's in the bloody police force, for God's sake. So it just proves that he knows nothing, and we do find out something a little bit later on about him. Sinwani says that he's been fighting AC12's corner all along. And I thought that, you know, a lot of people have been sort of saying that he's going to be involved in everything and he's going to be corrupt. And it was just something last week when Hastings walked out the building and he just gave him a little look over the shoulder, from the top of the staircase. And I just thought, maybe there's something a little bit more to this. But he said he's been fighting AC12's corner all along, which I think we were all wrong about him, weren't we? I mean, I don't think anyone really trusted that guy, but yeah, it looks like he's been in Hastings, battling along with Hastings there. Steve finds out about Hastings giving Steph the money, and it devastated him. Which we find out something a little bit later about that as well, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Now, Kate tells the team about the raid. Now, this was a really, really clever move by Kate, because it just shows how intelligent she is, and it gives AC12 a chance to get some surveillance on Ryan, take some pictures of him with the burner phone and stuff. So she only told Davidson and not the rest of the team. Now, she told everyone to surrender the phones, and the camera just kept panning on Davidson and Ryan looking at each other, but Chris Lomax was the one who didn't want to give his phone away more than anyone. Maybe he just feels like I've been saying Chris Lomax is part of this all the way through. I'm starting to think he mightn't be now. I'm not too sure. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't, but he didn't want to give that phone over. But I think maybe he just feels like he's not trusted enough. I mean, I'd be a little bit annoyed if I was a copper and they didn't trust me to do my job. But yeah, Brian Pilkington, basically all the evidence is there now. Well, most of it anyway. Now, two OCG members were caught in the gunfire, and it was the guy who gave Davidson the burner phone at the end of episode 2, just before she lost control in the car. And she went into the warehouse and kept looking at him, and I initially thought, is that the guy she's talking to on the other end of the laptop? But it's not, because she does go back and talk to someone on the laptop, but she recognised him. I thought there might have been a little bit more to that. Maybe she was actually related to him or something, but I don't think she was. I think his name was Lewis, I think. I just thought he was going to be the one who was talking to her, but it's not. Hastings didn't want to bring Ryan in to be interviewed. Now, I had a little thought in the back of my mind last week, and I knew I was probably wrong, but that Hastings may be H. And I know that is a terrible thought because he's such a good character, but when that happened, I was like... But by the end of the episode, it kind of proves that he might have been the right thing to do. I mean, it doesn't exactly lead him to H, but... more on the end of it. No, actually, no. It doesn't exactly lead them to H, does he? But it just made me think, if he gets pulled in, is he just going to blow everyone up? And Hastings did... Anyway, it's all guessing games, you know, it really is. It's very, very hard to trust anyone in this programme. It really is. Now, Chloe's talking about this case that that all the police officers were corrupt in. And it's the Lawrence Christopher case. Now, she got upset by this, and obviously it's because it's a race hate crime, and you know, she is of the same race. So did that upset her, or was it because of that upset her, or does she know this guy a little bit more personally? Did it just drive her to go to AC12 in the first place? Did she hear about this and want to just, you know, I don't know if she really knew these cops were corrupt, but maybe it was in the news that there was, you know, talks that it was corrupt, and no one really dug enough into it until Gail Bell come along. But maybe this is what inspired Chloe to be a cop or something. I don't know. She got really emotional, and maybe it is just because of the race issue, which is understandable, of course. Now, they're looking at Marcus Turnwell in charge of this case. She was the DI there. I think it's DI. There's a lot of little codes there, isn't there? I think they're called acronyms. I don't know. And Steve looked kind of shocked. I think it's just because he knew who he was because of the last from series 3, because he was sort of linked to, I forgot the guy's name, the guy they went and interviewed in the prison. Anyway, get to him in a minute. Now Joe Davidson has a comment when Kate tells her to leave and challenges her. Kate challenges her back, saying, "Why haven't you spoke to me?" And this does lead to our ending, which I'll get to in a minute. Now, Gail Vella was murdered the night before she was set to interview Fairbanks. Now, that just says a lot to me, because maybe he knew way more. But then again, he was just no much use, was he? Because the OCG, Steve went to interview him then, and he just didn't have a clue where he was. He was just no good at all. So he's sort of out the picture now, I feel. Maybe they'll bring charges to him later on if they find anything else, but I don't think he's going to help with the investigation whatsoever. Now, the OCG have told Davidson that they want rid of Kate Fleming. Like I said before, she is very intelligent, and she is probably going to crack this OCG case or have a big part to play in it, and they want it out the picture, and they are going to force Davidson to do this. Davidson is really going to she's really getting emotional over everything. It's getting to her. So yeah, Lee Banks claimed Hastings told them about Corbett. I'm going to be honest now, I was a little bit confused with that bit. I mean, did I miss something there? Is he basically telling Anna that he is the OCG? I don't know. He's involved with the OCG. I think I'm missing something with this Stephen Hastings money, but maybe it is up in the air and I'm not missing nothing. I think this is the one thing that's confusing me a little bit, but anyway. So I was thinking, is Davidson really going to do this? I mean, sorry, just more on that Hastings thing there. I mean, if any of you can jog my memory if I'm missing something, but that just basically said to me that is Hastings hate just because that Lee Banks just told him that he is. Why would he tell the OCG that Corbett's undercover? Unless I missed something in the last series, did they mistakenly do it? I can't quite remember. Now, this Davidson really gonna do this? I was just thinking, well, she doesn't want to, but is she kind of a bad person because she doesn't want to, but she's gonna do it anyway? You do everything in your power to maybe find another way. It's a hard one, isn't it, with Davidson? It really is. And we find out Buckles and Osborne are involved in this corruption of the Lawrence Christopher case. I think they were part of the team or something. Now, that made me think, is this why they killed Jimmy Lakewell in front of Buckles? Because I feel like they've done that because he obviously knew more than he was letting on in the interview. And if you sort of spill them, they're just going to do the same to you. I mean, why would they kill Jimmy Lakewell in front of him if he didn't know nothing? So obviously he does know a little bit more, doesn't he? And it is probably something to do with that. And then Patricia Carmichael came in, and I just can't stand her. I mean, she's up her own ass. She thinks she's amazing. Just don't like her at all. She told Anna to give her a phone, and that put Kate in danger a little bit there, in my opinion. Obviously, she didn't know what was going on. But it's weird. She's come in, all the surveillance has gone off, and then Ryan makes his move to go and kill Kate. And is that because Carmichael maybe H? I mean, she cut the surveillance and then gives them the go-ahead. Who knows? And that ending was just pretty good. I mean, one thing that didn't really sit well with me, I think it was a very risky move from Ryan Pilkington and Joe to ask Kate to meet there in a very secluded place. I mean, that could have given Kate cold feet. Even Anna told her to get out. And I don't think their plan would have worked on most people. I mean, if it was me, I wouldn't have went anywhere near that wagon yard. I'd have my suspicions, especially when I know Ryan's involved in everything. Obviously, she didn't know Ryan was with Davidson, but he's at large and he knows about what Fleming's up to and stuff. So I would. Kate was very brave to go in there. She really was. Now, that was just one of them endings, wasn't it, where the bad guy talks too much? I mean, it's like you see it in films all the time. It's like, why don't you just shoot her? But he knows now anyway that they've been watching him for a while and he's just going to get caught red-handed. That is if he's still alive, because we just heard a few gunshots and then screen went blank. That alarm music comes in, which I actually hate because I know the episode's about to end and I have to wait another week. But it was a pretty good ending. I mean, I actually can't wait for next week now. That was intense. But yeah, I just probably you know what, everyone loved last week, but this was my favourite ending of the whole series up to now. Thought it was great. Real cliffhanger. Now, that's basically it. I mean, I still don't know who's corrupt, who's not. It's a hard one, it really is. I still don't know who H is. Ian Ball, who commented last week, says H is a police. That might be true. My friend Owen Parks, who I'm going to be doing a podcast about Line of Duty just before the last episode on this channel with, he sort of thinks that as well. I just think that'll be a bit of an anticlimax, because fans are sort of promised that it's probably going to be a person, and to make it a place would be a bit of a letdown to fans, I feel. I don't think Jed would do that. I think it's going to be a person. So, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you lot are right. So, yeah, that's my thoughts. I mean, I'm sorry I can't be any more help. I'm not a detective or anything, but they're just my little quickfire thoughts on this episode. I thought it was a really good one. This series did start a little bit slow, but you've always got to judge a series at the end. You really have. I mean, I know it's nothing to do with Line of Duty, but a lot of people were saying that like about WandaVision, and by the end they loved it. So you've got to give a series time to get into it, haven't you? It's got to tell a story. And yeah, I'm really liking this series so far. I am probably going to rank all series as well when this is finished, from worst to best, even though I love them all. But that might be a fun little video, and I will review this series in whole as well. But I'll be back next week with another episode reaction. Like I said, I'm sorry I don't go into too much detail. It's just finished 5 minutes ago, so yeah. But they're just my little quick fire thoughts. What did you think of this episode? If you want to get involved in the comments, do you know who H is? Do you know what's going on in the background? That's something we don't. Do people still think Chloe is corrupt? I don't think she is at all. Just think she's a really, really good police officer. But then someone might video clip that of what I've just said, and by the end of the season, they're like, well, you were wrong. That's what I mean. It's all a guessing game, isn't it? So thank you so much, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed this instant episode reaction. And I'll be back next week with episode 6. So yeah, only 2 more to go. Exciting times. Thanks so much, everyone. Take it all easy. I'll see you all in the next video.